Sounds great. Let's get started. You ready? All right. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. We're very excited. Oh, look at you there in your blue shirt. I love it. As I just said, we're very excited about today's webinar, the do's and don'ts for successful farming campaign. We're excited about the e-guide that we've got for you guys and really delivering some powerful content for you today. That said,
sorry, Julie. All right, go ahead. Oh, I think, hang on 1 second, Julie. Let me just check. Let's just check one technical thing here, because I noticed, hang on 1 second.
Sure.
With the camera. So, okay, we're good. So let's go. Yep.
Perfect. Can I flip to the next slide for me?
Yes, I will. Here you go.
Thanks. To get the most, and hopefully everybody can see Darryl's slides. To get the most from today's webinar, be sure to take notes, grab a pen and paper. And I would love for you to text your questions using the control panel there. We'll take as many questions as we are able to.
Julie, before we go on, because we don't say this in the slides, there's a place for people to download the e-guide or the farming field guide we created for them. So you want to can you tell them how to get that right there on the control panel? So everybody should have. Yeah.
That control panel that usually pops up on the right-hand side, there's a little section called Handouts. So if you open that up, click on that little arrow, you can download your handout right there. I know some people have a tough time with that, so we'll make sure that you get it if there's a problem. But just click on that little handout and you should be able to download it right there on the spot.
Okay.
Does that sound good? All right. Next, on that same control panel, you can see there's two places. There's a Q&A, a question, and then there's a chat. So if you've got technical issues, please use the chat part. And if you want to ask questions, please use the question part, which it looks like everybody knows how to use the question part because we have lots of different people are talking to us, so that's awesome. Next, I want to let you know that after the webinar, if you ever want to keep in touch or keep tabs on Darryl, which is a good idea, all of his social media handles are at Darryl Speaks. So find him online. A little about Darryl, for those of you who might not know, he's the author of 3 books by McGraw-Hill. That first one there is the most sold book on Amazon to real estate agents. That's his best-selling real estate book, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate. Darryl has also been named one of the top 5 coaches in real estate. And if you can't make out all those other folks, don't you worry about it. They're not as funny as Darryl.
That was good, Julie. Look at you,
Julie. I
Julie.
thought I was like, I try to be funny. I try it.
That's good.
And lastly, Darryl is the CSP recipient, which is really, truly only awarded to the top 2% of speakers worldwide. So and that's his beautiful better half over there, April. So it's an exciting award, and we're very proud of him. And on that note, hey, let's get started, Darryl. I'm going to turn it all over to you.
All right. Thanks, Julie. Thank you very much. So, gang, let's handle 2 questions that we get at these webinars. The first one is people always ask if I'm going to be in their area live. So if you go to that website that's on your screen right now, poweragentseminar.com, don't go there now. Just write it down. This is when I come to cities, like I'll be in Denver and I'll be in some cities in California, Long Beach, and Florida. So that's where we're going to be in the coming weeks, but that's always changing. So hang on to that website. The second one is this webinar sales pitch? For people that have not been on a webinar with me before, people that have been, they will tell you this is absolutely not a sales pitch. But I do want to be clear about something, is that this webinar is exclusively, or it's designed for our power agents, which is in our coaching program. And I know that there's a bunch of people on the call who we consider guests. So we want to welcome the guests. Thanks for being here. If you decide at some point that you want to become a power agent, you'll see that website. I want you to jot that down because there's a special that we're going to do for you guys. The website, again, thepowerprogram.com/webinar bonus. So let me just give you an overview for those who don't know where this material came from. In 1993, I created the Power Program, which is what my book is based on, and our average power agents start with 15 transactions. A year later, because of what we teach them, they more than double 35 transactions. And if I put that to dollars and cents, the average student generates an additional $33,000 over their previous year. So for those of you that are guests, if you decide you want to participate in this program, what you should know is it's only $27 a month, and you can cancel anytime, so it's not a long-term contract. What we're offering today is the 30 days free to kick the tires, and most importantly, get a copy of these slides. Our power agents, you will have access to these slides when we're done. I'll tell you where they're going to be. For our new power agents that are on the call, this is your first webinar, I just want to remind you folks real quick that the classroom page is where all the magic happens, because when you click on one of those tabs, then it digs deep in with hundreds of links of flyers and promotional stuff, dialogue. Now you'll see on the screen there where it says farming and self-promotion. I'm teaching from that tab a lot today. So a lot of what you're going to see is in there. Also, power agents, don't forget that every month there's a tab for what's new. And there's a plethora of stuff that we keep putting there. This is what are just some of the things that we put up on the site this month. Now, for all the guests and everybody on the call, you'll see on the screen right now, over to the right, it says, by that what's new sticky thing, it says 6 powerful ingredients for successful real estate farming. We've given that as a gift to everybody, which Julie said, it's on that little, it's a PDF under handouts on that toolbar thing. Power agents, don't forget that we also give you every month this calendar, which gives you some motivational tips and prospecting tips. Like just if you just did one thing today, I'm going to just jump to, for example, let's say it's November 8th. It says make today all about physicals and expireds. Hit the phones using the dialogue found in the prospecting tab. So there's one tip every month that we're giving you in this calendar. You hang it up and it'll help you stay focused. Really important is that there's the top 10 reasons to list your home before year end. At the bottom is where you would put in your contact information, power agents. This is a flyer you can start mailing out, especially at a farm, and as an icebreaker and etc. All right, a couple more things, and then we're going to get into this content. Don't forget about the newsletter that we do every month of our interviews and the transcription. And please join the Facebook group. There's always stuff that we loaded. Just this week, I loaded some articles from news publications about how the market's changed and how you can use that on your listing appointments. So make sure you're checking that out, gang, because it's really powerful stuff. Don't forget about our weekly call every Monday, which is more one-on-one. This is where you can really ask me questions. And the webinar is going to be recorded and posted for you. And lastly, I think this is our last slide on this, is our newsletters. We send it out every Tuesday, so make sure you're getting those. If you're not, let us know. And the next webinar is November 29th on the win-win negotiation. Jot that down, November 29th. Okay, now, this webinar, what's that, Julie?
I said yay.
Yay, okay, good. Now, what's the advantage of farming? So everybody take a deep breath. Let's focus on this topic. So the advantages of farming, number one, is that business is going to come to you. It takes time, and we're going to talk about that, but that's one of the big benefits of farming. The second thing is there's no more cold calling, because what I'm going to encourage you to do is when you get your farm, you want to start mailing out stuff to them, and over several months, then you'll start doing calls to follow up on these mailings. So now it's not cold, now it's warm calling. It's a non-threatening way to prospect because you've already established credibility and value by mailing them things, so you're just following up. It's really, now I will tell you the drawback on farming is it takes time. It's like planting seeds. You got to water it, you got to cultivate it, and it costs money. But eventually, it'll create a steady flow of income for you. Now, and this is a perfect time to start talking about this to get ready for 2019. So let me give you, here's the meat and potatoes now of what to do to really be powerful with farming. The first is establishing your niche market. Now, the most common market for when we think of farming, we think geographic. We pick a subdivision, we pick hundreds of homes, but there are other forms of farming, and I'm just going to go through these with you real quick. You can do a price range. let's say you're doing $1 million properties and there's only, 50 in this one subdivision, but then in another subdivision, there's another 50. So it's not geographic, it's price range. Condos, co-ops is a different animal. You need different skills, knowledge to understand how that works. You could focus on style of homes, contemporary homes versus traditional colonial type homes. Now, ethnic, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about breaking fair housing rules. I'm talking about one of my, when I managed, one of my students, her name was Sue Wong. Sue Wong was Korean. And, I think she still is. But anyway, Sue, so she was, I don't know. She still is. Anyway, so Sue, because she was Korean, she had basically a following of clientele that were also Koreans because she can relate to that and speak their same language, literally. Working with investors, they buy with logic, not with emotion. Different type of market. Retirees, and of course, first-time buyers. So again, geographic is the easiest. It is the most common, but there are others that you may want to consider. So you need to decide which market you want to go for. The next thing is look for a niche that try and focus on a niche where it hasn't been exploited. What I mean is, my broker that I used to work for, he's still listed and sold. His name was Mac. Mac was considered the waterfront specialist in Oceanside, Long Beach, Freeport. So he had several towns that he worked, but his focus was on waterfront. Now, if you tried to start farming waterfront property, you'd be competing with him, and that's a little different in your marketing. It's better if you can carve out a niche where somebody doesn't own that niche that you're going for. The next is determine the number of people in your farm area. Now, I don't have time to, well, I'm sorry. One of the things that can help you in, determining the number of people in your farm, one of the things you can use as a tool to help you with this, and a lot of you should be aware of RPR. It's a great service. A lot of associations are using it. If your association isn't, look into it. Because let me just give you an example. They have so much marketing data and stats throughout the country. So I live in Wading River, right? So here's Wading River, and this is just one of the tabs. It shows you the estimated value, the median list price, how many people are owning, how many people are renting, just a plethora. And if I dug down deeper, I can really see a lot of numbers that they provide. So this is a valuable tool. The next thing is, I don't have time to go over this. This is like bonus material. And by the way, gang, I was talking to Julie about this. What I'm going to give you as we continue, there's so much material in this webinar. I don't want you to become overwhelmed. I want you to just absorb what you can and leave the rest. So pick out what's important to you. And here's an example. This is an overkill. But what I did for you is I created this Excel spreadsheet. I just did this a few days ago for this webinar that helps you determine if you're comparing area 1, 2, or 3, which one should you be working, which would have the best return on investment. And it would take me 11 minutes just to go over this with you. So what I did, Power8, how do I know 11 minutes is because I actually recorded a video on how to fill this form out. And for the power agents on the call, this calculator and the video is in the farming tab. So when you click on the farming tab, you will see the spreadsheet and the tutorial video. But it's very powerful. And for the guests on the call, don't worry. I mean, just the concept is you want to get a sense of how much your farm area is going to cost you in the cost of a year and what your potential income is. If you are going to hit a market where you don't have a choice, there is a top agent or there's a team that is working that same area that you want to work in, then you want to find what their strengths and weaknesses are, and whatever their weaknesses, make it your strength. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should talk bad about any other agent. You don't build the tallest building by knocking down others. Why I want you to do this is because if you're on a listing appointment and this agent is very popular in this market, that name's going to keep coming up. So you have to be prepared on a listing appointment on how to address it, perhaps pointing out, yeah, they have a lot of listings, but actually let's look at my company's average list price to sales price ratio and that agent's, and what you'll find is my company actually helps our homeowners sell for more money than that particular agent you're talking about. So it'll be fair to do that if the name comes up on an appointment. Get an appropriate photo. Make sure that, you know, guys, that you're not using your high school pictures, and ladies, you're not using glamorous. It's got to look like you is the point. And
No prom pictures.
yeah, no prom pictures. And believe me, I feel the pain when it comes to taking new photos. I resisted it for years because I looked good when I was skinny. All right, next thing is save 6 months of your money, because so if we go back to that chart, if you figure out, you know, we're going to use this as an example. We'll go with the smallest farm. By the way, here's another tip for you. I prefer the larger the better, because it's a numbers game. And, you know, if you have the ability to have 500 mailing pieces, that would be the best as a starting point. But I know that there's some agents, some areas where 500 would be the whole county. So, you know, if you're in a more rural area, like 150, let's just look at that first column. Based on the cost per mailing, and we figured just like, you know, whatever the number was, I think it was $1. Let's say it's $1,800 for just the mailings in a year. You want to have at least $900 put away, because you don't want to start something you can't finish. Gang, here's a teaching moment. The concept about farming is it's really a numbers game, and it has to be consistent, okay? So that's crucial. Also, what I recommend that you do, everybody, is put together a self-promotion farming campaign calendar, that each month that you may be running some kind of advertising, a mailing, and plan it out way in advance, okay? So that way you're not doing everything last minute every month. Here is an example of some events that you can do around holidays. I'm not going to go through all these. This is just to give you a sense, but let's just look at the holidays that are coming up. We just had the Halloween, so we'll skip that pumpkin. Thanksgiving could be a food drive. Christmas could be Toys for Tots, but there's other events that you can do for your farm area. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not want you to do an event on every holiday, because if you did that, you would be in the event planning business, not in the real estate business. So, you know, look at picking 1 or 2 or 3 at best that you want to do in your community. Number 8 is use a contact management software to help manage your farm. Now, power agents, if you go to the recommended vendors tab, remember when you go to classroom, recommended vendors, you're going to see what we recommend as far as the CRMs based on what other students have told us. We've done some research on it. But for everybody on the call, I'll tell you the 2 popular ones are Top Producer and Market Leader. So there's other ones. I'm not going to cover them all, but those seem to be really the popular ones, because you want to stay organized. So that's why you need that management software. You know, having an Outlook, some agents use Outlook. To me, that's not really a CRM. It's really not the best. And then develop your mailing list. Okay, so now, how can you develop your mailing list? I'll give you an idea here. The United States Postal Service, if you go to if you just Google, don't do it now, but every door direct mail. So it's called EDDM is the initials. What you can do with this is pretty cool, is that you can, based on their carrier, how they deliver mail, you can punch in areas that you want mailing pieces to go to. And then what you do is you take your mailing pieces, you bring it to the post office, and they will deliver it for you. So you're not putting with postage and mailing it, you're actually bringing it to the post office and they deliver it. Now, if you can see, I don't have my little cursor going, but over to the right where it says $518, right above that, you'll see it says the cost per mail piece is 0.17, so less than 18 cents, which would cost a lot more if you use stamps. So this is a way to really help save your costs when you're using that. So that's something to also look at. Kohl's Directory is another vendor that we recommend, because there's a way to download more specifically. Let me go back. The drawback with Every Door Direct is that you can't really, it's controlled by the carrier who's delivering. So you may be delivering to houses that maybe you're not interested in. Whereas if you create your own list and you bought it from, let's say, Kohl's directory, you would have more control over your addresses. Now, one of our favorites is RedX. They have this thing. Now, a lot of power agents on the call are using RedX. For those of you that are not, you'll see a website and a code there called Smile, where we've negotiated something for our power agents. It's a gift I'm giving everybody on the call here. But gang, those of you that are power agents that are using RedX, you'll see GeoLeads. GeoLeads is similar to the Kohl's, but it's less expensive, and you can download the addresses, the phone numbers, and you can control it a lot better. So the GeoLeads is awesome with RedX. Okay, now suggestions on working your farm. Here's where it's going to really start getting mind-blowing. First of all, one of the things you want to do when you're starting from scratch is mail an introductory letter. You know, power agents, we have a sample of a letter that you could send out. Hi, my name is Darryl Davis. I specialize selling homes. I've chosen your area because it's delightful, blah, 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 blah. So putting together some kind of introductory letter, sending that out, that should be your first mailing piece. So that's the intro letter. The second thing, now again, what I'm about to show you, I can end the webinar right now by making it so simple in working your farm area, okay? This idea I got from an agent who mailed these 3 letters to me, and I watched what happened. Like, he didn't know, he wasn't mailing it to me, as Darryl Davis speaker, he's mailing it to my house. And I saw this guy take over my town within about a year, because this is what he did. Just these 3 letters, watch. He would mail out, let's say 1 month, dear neighbor, I'm delighted to announce that I just sold a home located at Umpty-Ump. Okay, good. Then next month, he would mail out this letter. Dear Hana Hana, I thought you'd like to know the following homes have sold in your subdivision. Now, gang, I want you to pay attention to something. Does this letter say that you sold it or that agent sold it? No. It says that this is what's sold in this subdivision. Imagine this letter on your letterhead in your envelopes. And people always ask me, should you have your company letterhead in? Yes, you should, because you're marketing you and your company. Okay. Now, so you've got your face, your company on this letter. It creates the perception as if you sold these homes. Okay. Then the 3rd month, he would mail out like an update. Hey, I just want to let you know, here's all the homes that have sold. Here's all the new houses that have come on the market. So that's month 3. What would he do month 4? He would go back to the first letter. And then he'd do the 2nd. And then the 3rd. He took these 3 letters, and all he kept doing was changing the addresses. And it is so powerful, it is so simple that and here's what it does, is it creates the perception that, holy geez, this agent is listing and selling everything in the marketplace. So gang, if you wanted to make it real simple, you could just simply take those 3 letters and start mailing them out. But in this webinar, I'm going to give you a ton of other ideas. Power agents, I'm sorry, going back to that, those letters, you will find them in that farming tab. Okay, they're there for you. They're in, I believe they're in Word, so you can edit it easily. The third thing is you may want to consider using car magnets. Now, this is, here's a typical, slap it on car magnet. But check this out. I've seen some of our students, what they've done is what's called wrapping. So not a magnet, but it's a wrap. Check that out. Now, these kind of things that you do, now some of you are like, oh, I don't want to do that to my car. Well, why not? I mean, it's totally outrageous, and it makes your car more of a write-off. And
right?
Look at that. It's great promotion. That's something I would like, Julie. Put my face on everything, on every shot of the car.
Big Darryl face.
Yeah, that's what Camille would do, right? She'd put my face on everything. Look at that. Bada bing. The golf. This guy looks like a hitman. All right. So, right, he looks like you're making an offer you can't refuse. All right, now here's
I'm sure he's a lovely gentleman.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a lovely gentleman. Yeah, I'm probably going to get an email saying, Darryl, you disgraced me, you made fun of me. All right, gang, this is another great idea. And sometimes people are like, I don't know if I can afford this. You should look into this because it's probably less expensive than what you think. buying one of these kind of U-Haul type trucks, wrapping it, and what a lot of our students I've seen done is they would lend this out to people. If people buy or sell, they can use it. But even neighbors, like a friend needs it. Like every time this truck is out on the road being used, it's a free billboard. Well, not free because you're making the car payments and the insurance and all that stuff, but it's still great advertising. Number 4, and again, Big Gang, I just want to say something. I am so not done yet. I have so much more to give you. It's impossible for you to implement everything I'm going to give you in a short period of time. So I want you to look at this more like a buffet. You don't have to eat everything at the buffet. Don't be a pig. Just pick what you like and run with it, all right? Here's another idea. When you hold a buyer or a seller seminar, what's great about this is that regardless of the attendance, when you take when you promote a webinar, not a webinar, a seminar, like how to sell your home successfully in today's market, or another great title, how to sell your house for the highest possible price in today's market. And you've got you there and you've got some guest speakers, let's say a title company, insurance company, engineer, inspector, a stager. Everybody could take 15 minutes. So let's say there's 3 guest speakers, then there's you, 15 minutes each, that's an hour. Then you can you close out the seminar with questions and answers. There's an hour and 15. You have a raffle that gets donated. These speakers, they help offset the cost. Now, here's my point. The webinar, even if you don't have a good turnout in the webinar, I'm sorry, not webinar, live seminar, if you don't have, if this is a webinar, okay. So even if you don't have a great turnout at the seminar, which you will if you promote it correctly, just the fact that you're in the papers, you have a flyer where you're speaking about how to sell your house successfully in today's market, it gives you credibility. And a flyer like this would be good in your listing appointment. You could also do it for buyers. If you want to do a buyer workshop and bring in other guest speakers, finance, and all that other stuff. Okay. Number 5 tip is I love this one. Get actively involved in the schools. Now,
I love this.
You do, right, Julie? Okay. Now,
I do.
By the way, is my camera still on? Because I'm talking like it is. Julie.
You are. We can see you.
Okay. Now, you don't want to listen to me. This is a powerful idea. I hope you run with this. So, like, if you're not going to do everything, maybe do this, please. So most teachers in the country, what they have is a homework folder that the kids put the homework, the teacher puts the homework in, the kid takes the homework folder home. So that way the parent knows what homework has to be done that night. The parent does the work with the kid, and then they put it back in the folder and goes back to the teacher. That's Monday. Then they do that again on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday. So every day, back and forth, the parents are touching the folders 5 days a week. Now, what do they say, ladies? The best way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I believe the best way to a parent's heart is through the children. Now, a lot of these schools, they have tight budgets. If you were to go to the school and say to the school, I would like to sponsor the homework folder for the class or for the entire school, then what you can do is put a little advert sponsored by with your name and contact information on the folder. Now you have all of these parents that are touching your folder 5 days a week. You cannot get better advertising than that. There is a company called Schoolmate. This is what they do. They create customized folders. If you can zoom in on that screen, I can't, but if you squint, you will see over to the right, it says Rockwell Elementary School. So this company will put the school logo on the front, and then wherever you want, you can put your information. Now, let's say you put it on the back. Just don't take the whole back up. Like, I don't want it to be like an 8.5 by 11 ad, because that would be obnoxious. A little subtle something on there. If you look at this chart, it says for, let's just take 500, and if we go with the more expensive one, it's $1.08. That's $508. Is that right? Am I doing the math right? No, it's less than $600. to have this kind of advertising in your school. I love it. Number 6, be active in your Facebook community group. Now, Facebook. So Facebook, there's your farm area probably has a community group. Let me show you an example of this. You'll see in the upper left-hand corner, this, I live in Shoreham Wading River School District. This is our group. It's a closed group, but it's so active. And here's what I'm telling my students. This is your farm area digital without it costing you any mailings if you get actively involved in the community group. Now, let me give you advice on how to do this. So here they've got a festival, right? What you should do is you should comment on everybody's posts, and you should like or love everybody's comments if it's positive. And you do this, the rule of thumb should be 6 times before you do any real estate post. So in other words, you want to give, not take. You want to give more than take. So for example, this person here says, hey, I need an orthopedist for my newly broken foot. You know, listen, if you have somebody, recommend it. If you don't, maybe find one. If you don't, at least make a little, oh, I'm sorry, I hope you're feeling better. Here's another one. These people lost their dog. You put a little post, you say, hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you have flyers? I'll help you hang them. I'll keep the word out. I'll call all the vets to see if they've heard of any lost animals. You know, and then here was the reunion, and look at the bottom under the picture, 168 likes. So there's a lot of activity, and then you can post, hey, I'm having an open house. I mean, not right when the dog is lost. You got to time it. But, you know, oh, I'm sorry, your dog's lost. I'm having an open house today. Don't do that. So maybe
the dog will come.
What's that?
Maybe the dog will show up.
Yeah, exactly. So so to me, this is a powerful, powerful tool. Power Agents, we created some social media. We do this for you on a regular basis, where you can. These are obviously, you don't post these with my photo on it. These are samples, and so but here's the one I love. I want to point out. Because I just love, though the weather outside is frightful, our sales records is delightful. So, you know, if you don't have snow where you're from, don't do that one. But anyway, social media, little things like this we have for you guys. I love this one. Looking to find out what your home is worth today's market. I'm happy to look into it, a magnifying glass. So there's little social, do I call them infographics, Julie? Would I call it that or no?
I think it's just a social media graphic. Infographic has more.
Okay, all right, good. Now, gang, Julie, tell me if this is going to play. Gang, I want to show you 2 videos. One of our students here, Jeff Goodman, what he does, and then I'm going to show you another video, give you an idea here. Julie, tell me if there's a technical problem here.
All righty.
I'm not going to show the whole video. Just
anything witty anymore? Or have I done my wittiness for the day on camera?
Yeah, we can see it.
Jeff Goodman from Halstead Property. Welcome today on a very special tour.
Gang, listen to this.
Seeing Gramercy Park and the neighborhood surrounding it. Our tour today is going to be given by the amazing Joyce Gold. I host these neighborhood tours for people I know, for friends, for clients. People love them if they live in a specific neighborhood or if they're thinking about living in a particular neighborhood.
It's a great idea.
The special of the stories.
So now, gang, I'm going to show you the whole video because, again, we have so much more to teach you. But here's the concept. What Jeff has done, he's done a few things. Number one is he's doing a community tour. Now in New York City, there's a lot of architecture, a lot of history and stories about buildings. He hired a tour guide, and he does this periodically to, it's a free tour guide for people about Gramercy Park. That's number one. Number two is he recorded the video, and he uses it to promote himself and to put it on his website and promote his farm area to other buyers. Let me show you another one that's a similar concept. It's not a tour guide, but it's a video about a community.
Hi there, I'm Joanne with Room Destination Marketing here in beautiful 72-degree Huntington Beach. And I'll be that host who mentions everything that you could have just seen in the photos. Let's get started. Huntington Beach is known by the gorgeously tanned...
Okay, so there you've got where a promotional video about this beach area. To me, this is a brilliant idea that because nowadays you can hire people to help you with this, local students, video, but what if you did a infomercial, if you would, about your farm area or about your community? and then you promoted that video and you actually featured maybe some local stores and people and interviewed them. I mean, this is a really powerful idea, putting it on your website, giving it to other vendors from the community where they may want to show it because they're featured in it. Now, Power Agents, the full videos for you is on the Farming and Self-Promotion. I uploaded the videos for you so that way you can watch the entire thing and get some ideas. Take notes as you're going through the video. Now, let's touch upon the prospecting dialogue on calling on the phone and door knocking. Now, I'm going to go through this quick, again, because I have still more to give you. But you guys can get the concept here. Hi, this is Darryl Davis, Power Realty. How are you? So this is when you could call your farm area. Hi, I hope I'm not interrupting you. The reason why I was calling is I've been sending you some information about the market to keep you informed about what's going on in our neighborhood. Have you been getting that information? You see, it's not a cold call, it's a warm call. Now at this point, you want to offer something of value. So let me give you two ideas of what you can do. And by the way, Power Agents, this whole dialogue is on one 8.5 by 11. I blew it up and had to do 2 screens for it. So anyway, so one value you can do is, well, one of the things I'm also doing for my neighbors is I'm offering a free report, for example, the 9 mistakes on selling your house and how to avoid them. I understand you folks may not be selling right now, but if you ever do, this is a really great report that's good to have in your paperwork at home, right? So that's one option. Another value thing you can offer is, well, one of the things we're offering as a service to the community is a free over-the-phone market analysis, which I love this. Why we think this is really important is because for most people, their home is one of the most important assets that they have. And just like if somebody had a stock portfolio, periodically you should get an update on how your portfolio is doing. Well, we feel that a homeowner should do the same thing with their home. So what I'm offering is a simple over-the-phone market analysis. How it works, I basically ask you some questions about the house and then get back to you, go to the computer, do an analysis, and call you back with the results. Do you have time for me to do this now, for me to ask you questions? So, by the way, gang, this dialogue is a little bit more wordy than maybe what'll really happen when you're making your calls. I did this more to explain it to you on the concept of what you're offering, and then you can edit and tweak it, but that's the concept, an over-the-phone market analysis. Now, what we also did, you can actually take that and create a flyer promoting this over-the-phone market analysis, mailing it out to your farm area, and have a cover letter explaining what I just said about why this is so important. Now, by the way, why is an over-the-phone awesome idea? Here's why. There's a lot of homeowners that are curious about their house's worth, but they don't want an agent to come in and do a sales pitch. So if they can just talk on the phone and give you bedrooms, bath style, and that kind of stuff, and you give them a ballpark idea what their property is worth over the phone, then you're going to get more reception. People will be more receptive. You'll get more leads. You'll have more dialogue. Powerful technique. Now, here's the door knocking dialogue. It's kind of similar to making the calls. Hi, this is Darryl Davis. And you're not there. Hey, I hope I'm not interrupting you. The reason why I'm stopping by is I've been sending you information about the market to keep you informed about what's going on in the neighborhood. Have you been getting it? They said yes. Now, stay with me on this. The first sentence, great. I also wanted to stop by and introduce myself, and I want to give you something about here it is. And so you give them a little icebreaker. I'll show you some things in a minute that you can give them. If there's anything I could ever do for you folks or your family in regards to real estate, my number is at the bottom of, and then pointing to what you just gave them. Julie, I see a little typo. There's a parentheses there. We're missing parentheses. Anyway, now, at this point, gang, you're going to like walk away. So you're just stopping by, saying hi, introduce yourself, give something of value, give a gift, and you say, if you ever need anything, I'm here for you. And it's almost like you're done. And they say, oh, thank you very much. Then it's, by the way, I'm also offering folks in the neighborhood, in the area, neighborhood market report. And then it explains what the neighborhood market report is. So that's your door knocking dialogue. Here is the neighborhood market report. Oh, I'm sorry, gang. You'll see it says, so this is another thing of value that I didn't talk about on the call and which you could use. A neighborhood market report, gang, is simply a CMA. But Power Agents, I want you to use the word neighborhood market report. Here's why. Number one, everybody else does CMAs. Power Agents do neighborhood market reports. So it differentiates you. That's number one. Number two is you'll see what it says on this dialogue. It's a report that shows you two things. First, it shows you how much your neighbors paid for their home. That's powerful. It's like, oh, I was always wondering what Mary and John paid for that house. So that really triggers people like, oh, I love this. I want this report. The second part, obviously, it says based on that information, it gives you a value range of what your property is worth. So I love the neighborhood market report. What we did for you too is we created a certificate. You can drop your information in on that. You want to do a mailing on that. It says CMA, that should say neighborhood market report cover letter, but that's the letter that could go with that if you wanted to do it as a mailing. Here's some mailing tips that I have for you. You can do shared mailing with vendors, meaning have some of your expenses off written with a mortgage company or a title company or a home inspector. And of course, they're going to go in on the they're going to be in the mailing piece with you. Using real stamps on small mailings will help bring more attention that people will open up the mail. Use different size and color envelopes. I want you to imagine if you were doing a mailing in the month of October, what's the color that we associate with the fall in October? Well, it's orange, right? Or whatever color that is. Imagine a homeowner's getting all this mail, and in this pile of white mail, there's this orange envelope, right? That's going to totally stand out. So periodically, or red one during the holidays coming up, use a mailing house so you're not licking and stamping and printing. And I'll give you some suggestions. Here's a company called Direct Mail Quotes. What you can do is you bring them your send them your mailing pieces. They'll mail it out for you. So you tell them how much. What do you need? They'll also do graphic design. They'll find a mailing list for you. So they'll do a lot, but you can hire this company just to do the mailings and you provide the pieces. Another vendor that a lot of students use is called Quantum Digital. They are a mailing house too, but in addition, they have postcards and mailings and pieces that they design and you can purchase. Another place we found MailShark. I'm not going to spend time on this, but MailShark, they have different plans for you that you can choose to use. And you'll see in that green, they actually help you with that post office thing that I referenced earlier. That's not mail, but it's hand delivered by the courier and saving postage. So there's another vendor to look into. Business.com, we found this, we dug deep on that website. They actually have several companies that they've recommended, and they review the pluses and minuses. So there's just a lot of, now, this is not a mailing house, but I wanted to tell you about it because I found this, I came across this, and it's called Printer Bees. And they have a plethora of postcards and flyers and just listed, just sold farming stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to give you this information, check out what they have. Great stuff is there. Now, in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see it says samples, order quick samples. So click on, when you go to the site, get a sample, see what they got. Gang, Power Agents, all of these vendors, and there's other ones too. I don't have time to go through everything in in 1 hour, but if you go to recommended vendors in the Power Program website, you'll see all of those companies that I just showed you, plus some other ones. Miscellaneous ideas for you. What I'm going to show you are just really cool these could be icebreakers. These could be things that you give when you door knock, a yellow highlighter, and you can print on there, let me highlight some ways to get your house sold. Here's another one where you can customize, although this aspirin bottle is not customized, but you can put in there or around it on the outside, let me remove the headache of selling your house. The double eraser, make no mistakes when selling your house, hire Darryl Davis. Obviously, don't put my name there, put yours. And this erase drugs from your mind, don't put that in either. That's the only image I could find that had the double eraser on it. Okay. Now, here's a cool idea, rulers, thanks for inching me along, or thanks for helping me grow, or Molly rules. So I love those play on words with these little rulers. This I think is awesome. This is not farming, but really quick. I would put this in my arsenal, like if you're door knocking, you're finding a family that has children. This company, you can actually buy a coloring book that's customized with your information on it. And I think this is really awesome, going on listing appointments that have children and give this as a gift for the kids. Plus, Or even with buyers, sometimes the kids are disrupting you and you're trying to talk to the buyer. I love children, but they, if they're not yours, you like to lock them in the car while you're trying to sell a house. Anyway, give them a coloring book and a crayon and they'll disappear for a while. I'm going to get in trouble, aren't I, Julie?
Yep.
So I love this idea. Having you can design your own puzzle, and you can print or have something mailed with it that says, "Hey, are you puzzled over selling your home? If you want your for sale sign to be sold, call Darryl Davis." So there's just another little slogan idea. This company, Custom Earth Promos, I love this. Some of us have heard the concept about mailing out seeds. Come grow with me. This company, they actually make things that are made out of seeds. You'll see in the center there, Chris King, it looks like a bookmark. That bookmark is actually made out of seeds. Now, which a person could do if they wanted is take the bookmark, plant it in their garden, and it will actually produce stuff. You'll see the key is another example. So it's really cool. There's another house on the right there. So a really cool tool. This Dear Neighbor letter, your screen is white because I don't want you to see it until I first set it up and explain it. When you have a happy customer, you close the real estate transaction, instead of asking them to write you a letter, a testimonial letter, ask them to word it as if they're writing to their neighbors. And then what you would do, the letter would look something like this. Dear neighbor, we want to take a few minutes to tell you about the sale of our home, which we just sold this past fall. We hired Hana from XYZ Real Estate. We had bought the home 6 years from it. Remember the age. Anyway, the letter goes on to talk about how great you are, but it's written to the neighbors. You then take this letter, you put it in a plain envelope, you mail it out to the neighbors. It's written for you to the neighbors. And it's a great idea. Again, Power Agents, this, if you go to what I'm about to show you now, Power Agents, is when you go to Classroom and you click on Power Agent Corner, you're going to see these things, okay? So here's some other ideas. I know we know about the magnets and the date, but what I love about the one on the right is what Brian did is actually put all these really important phone numbers as opposed to a calendar. I don't think anybody's going to use calendars anymore, magnets. I mean, between our iPhones or smartphones, but this is powerful, a telephone directory. You can do it like this, or you can do local stores and communities in your community. This CMA certificate, I like how she called it free property evaluation. It's not neighborhood market report, but I like how she changed the name. I love the colors. I love the look. Anytime you see things like this, gang, it's to give you an idea on design. Like this one here, it has bullets. It has the agent's photo, their contact, their great colors, red and the black and the blue. There's just a lot of great things about this flyer. It really attracts you. So this has nothing to do with farming, but I love this, and I just had to share it with you, okay? This is a Broken Open House Caravan. This is a flyer, and it's just a good-looking flyer that's promoting, 4 open houses and as a caravan, right? And it has the information, a little gift card to win, to enter if you go to each one of those. If you read it, it says you stamp your business card at all 4, and then you're entered into this contest. Here's another creative postcard idea used in that. What's this called? This thing, Julie? I don't play this puzzle. What's that called? The Baccarat.
Sudoku.
Fidako.
I would say it wrong. Sudoku.
Okay, there you go. So there's a Fiduco thing over there. I like that. That was pretty cool. Great looking card that just listed. I love the dimensions on that photo. And on the back has the information. So these are just some. There's the come grow with me concept, or forget me nots. Forget me not for all your real estate needs is what it says there. So just some other ideas. Now this one, I love this one. Now, listen, I know it looks horrible. Julie didn't want me to show you this because it's black and white. That's the only copy I had. But what I love about this is just the heading, gang. Since you own a property in the neighborhood, we thought you'd like to be interested in knowing that is now available for purchase. That dialogue is so awesome. It's not just listed. It's like, hey, since you own a property, all right, you caught my attention. Yeah, what are you talking about? You're in my backyard. What do you know that I don't know? is a great heading, and then it continues. We thought you'd like to be interested to know that this house is not for sale. It's now available for purchase. Everything is right about that heading. Love it. Here's another idea on the phone numbers, but instead of emergency numbers or county numbers, this is of vendors in the farm area that Tom Randall sends out as a postcard, and he keeps putting other people on this, creating a neighborhood directory of people who are gardeners, they do piano lessons, handyman. Awesome idea. Guess what happened to your neighbor? Oh my God, did they get shot? Okay, so I love that caption also. Horrible card looking, but love because it's black and white. The last one, I think this is the last one, is what this guy did is he's promoting the season of giving. So anybody that actually buys something or sells something between this year, and this is obviously an old card, he would donate 20% of his commission towards the school system that he works. So I love this idea as far as giving back to the community, back to the school system. Everything's awesome about it. Power agents, all of those samples are on that tab, the farming and self-promote. And by the way, you're getting a copy of these slides, power agents. So when this webinar is over, we're going to upload these slides and the recording. Now, Halloween is around the corner, so it's tomorrow, isn't it?
It's tomorrow.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know if this will be good right now unless you get it done by today. But I love this idea as far as we put together tips for Halloween for the kids to stay safe. You can do like a Halloween cut. This will obviously be for next year. So let me skip through these.
You have to put the other one on their social media though.
Yeah, we could. Let me just jump to this now. I'm going to give you some prospecting things that can be used for farming. But gang, going back to it, what I'm showing power agents, these slides that I'm showing you are in the prospecting tab. And a seller's winter open house guide, the top 5 tips on doing an open house and selling your property during the winter months. Great piece to send out as a mailing piece, as an icebreaker on a listing appointment. Vacant land letter in your farm area. If there's any land for sale, you can find the address through county records and send them a letter telling them, hey, listen, we're helping homeowner or people that own properties to try and sell in this market. It's a great time to do it. Absentee owner, same thing. So these are some extra letters when your farm area, if you have the vacant land or absentee. Also doing power agents, don't forget, now this is an old one, it says September, but every month we actually create a newsletter for you to mail out to your farm. So, and every one of these newsletters will say newsletter at the beginning of the name. So it'd be easy for you to find it. And this is also in the prospecting section. Let's see. Oh, gang, I want to give you some recommended other vendors that's on the website, but here, the guests on the call, you know, that you just find the Goodies Factory. What's good about the Goodies Factory, it's a fundraiser where you can buy a fundraiser package and they help you put together, like, so everything's done for you. So if you want to do a fundraiser for your farm, this is a great idea. These are packages. Here's another one, Seas Candy. They have a fundraising concept that you can do with them. So I love this idea also, where it's already designed for you and you're just paying for the items and then getting the schools involved. Here's another one, ABC Fundraising. They have different, if you look over to the left, they have a plethora of different, you can do popcorn or scratch cards. They have a whole huge selection of fundraising ideas. Also, we're coming to the end of the webinar. We're going to open up to questions. We've got 10 minutes here. All right, Nextdoor, gang, just check this out. Nextdoor is something that might help you in your farm. Just check it out. I'm not really, saying that you should do this. You should check it out. Patch is another social media where they work in farm areas. Also, Zillow has something that I want you to consider. A lot of power agents have been using Zillow to help them. So to summarize, figure out your costs for at least 6 months and then have your farming campaign written in advance. And don't be overwhelmed, gang. I know I covered a lot here, and just pick a few things and run with those. But the most important thing is to make your phone calls, to have those face-to-face relationships, and make sure that you have the money to invest in this, because it's going to take you about a year for it to start to pay off. Now, for those of you that are guests, if you want a copy of these slides and you want to get access, you want to go to thepowerprogram.com/webinar bonus. And let me just point something out, so stay with me. You know what? This is one of our students, Michael Ardolino. First year, he generated 71 listings, and he attributes it to the Power Program. Now, I want to review with you. It's only $27 a month, which I know is really very inexpensive. That's a few Starbucks, but you're going to get the first 30 days free. So really, gang, I'm going to say something for those of you still on the call. Listen to me. Here's what I would do. I would sign up during the 30 days. You would get a copy of this webinar. You get a copy of the slides. You can go to the website, download a lot of stuff, print it out, and then cancel. I just told you how to rip me off. But you could do that. You could still do that. But you'll miss out on all the other future good stuff. But listen, you can't go wrong with this. You'll have complete access. It's totally unrestricted to the website, and you'll get a copy of the slides. I already said that webinar is on demand, and the upcoming webinars. There's weekly coaching calls. I'm going to open up to questions in just a minute, so stay with me. There's weekly coaching calls. There's a dedicated classroom with all these categories. The website has the last year of material for you. The digital magazine, interviewing top agents. The most valuable thing people have been telling us is the weekly calls with me. Every Monday, they really love talking to me, and you get other discounts and stuff. So the next webinar, jot that down, is November 29th, Power Agents. We're going to talk about putting deals together. And now I think we're going to open it up to questions. Julie, did we have any questions for real quick that we have?
We do. We have lots of thank yous for all of the great information.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit more about geo leads? Why is that important, and where can they get those?
Yeah, the geo leads, you have to first be have an account with Redex. If you go to darrylspecial.com, all one word, if you're not currently using it, and then the promo code is SMILE, and you get like the setup fee is waived, you get 30 days free there. But the geo leads, you type in an address, and then you tell them, just give me the leads for any new homeowner or homeowners who live there at least 2 years. And so it's a way to easily download a list based on geographic that you want to mail to. So that's what I love about GeoLeads. What's next, Julie?
Wonderful. How often and most effective is the farming time frame that one should do?
Oh,
they're
that's
asking how long.
Great question. Great question. When it comes to farming, it should be once a month. Now, what you may want to do in the first 30 days is actually double up. So I would do that intro letter, and then a week later or 2 weeks later, mail them another piece, then wait another 2 weeks and mail them a piece, and then go to once a month. So I said double up. It's really 3 mailings, like close together. To me, that's the best way to get started, because then the follow-up mailings is just to remind them of who you are. Yeah. So next question.
Awesome. Do you have a CRM that you recommend?
Yes, as I said, for Power Agents, if you go to the recommended vendor portion of the classroom, you're going to see a list of CRMs that we've kind of signed off that we think are good to look at. Now, you have to make your decision, but these are the ones we've narrowed it down. For a non-Power, for the guests on the call, the ones that come to mind right now that's on that list is Market Leader and Top Producer. So those are the 2 that come to mind. Next question.
Wonderful. Where do I find all this information?
Yeah, you have to go.
You got that on the screen, actually.
Listen, what you should do right away, gang, is while you're on the call, if you're not a Power Agent, is go to that website that's on this page, thepowerprogram.com, webinar bonus, and you'll put your credit card in there. We're not charging you. It's free for 30 days, but then you're going to get a username and password emailed to you. You'll have access to the website. Then you'll also get an email with these slides. You will get the recording of this webinar. You really want to do that right away. like, because this website is temporary, so it's not going to be there forever. And what else I want to say about that? Yeah, that's basically it, I think. Go ahead, Julie. What else?
What if you're new to an area? Is farming a good idea?
Farming is only good if you have the money to invest into farming, okay? That's the key. If you do not have money to do at least 6 months, if you're not prepared for that, then my recommendation is FSBOs and expireds. It costs no money. You have your cell phone already. You get your leads, you make your calls, you set up appointments. To me, that's the guerrilla approach to building inventory quickly. And once you financially can start doing farming, then I would do that. Because again, here's the other point I just want to highlight. If you call, 100, or let's say if you talk to 40 FSBOs in the next 30 days, there's no way you're not going to get at least a couple listings that are going to sell. Whereas with farming, if you mail out 500 pieces this month and next month and next month, you're probably still not going to get a listing. It takes time and it takes money, okay? Next question, Julie. I think this will be our last question.
Yep. What are wastes of money in terms of marketing? That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Here's what I'd say. Go with, if you're a power agent, if you use that Excel spreadsheet, which is in the farming in the video, that's going to clear up a lot of that, okay? Because that's 11-minute video where I actually explain it. If you're not a power agent, my answer would be, don't spend money you don't have. Start off small, start off slow, do calls to follow up on the mailing. So go with your least expensive mailing pieces, and then as your farm starts generating cash, then you can invest the cash back into the farm and start spending more money on bigger things. Yeah. All right, gang. Listen, thanks for calling in. Boy, I'm amazed on almost how everybody stayed on the call all the way to the end. That makes me feel good. I hope this helped you. We're really committed to serving you and helping you get to your next level. I hope if you're not a power agent that you become one. You'll learn a lot more about my company and our commitment to helping you get to your next level. Our current power agents, please don't forget, be on the call every Monday. I'm there for you. I love to hear your questions so I can coach you personally. That's it. So gang, thanks for calling in, and until the next webinar, don't forget to keep smiling. All right, bye-bye.
Yay. Thanks, Al. Thanks, everybody. Great having you on.